an exciting project that we recently finished in my research group. So basically studying the climate change impact on the pavement performance, okay, and the pavement materials in Canadian context. So we'll talk about that. Before I start my presentation, I also again want to take this opportunity to thanks Dr. Rahman for inviting me and to your university as well for arranging this webinar. I think it's very important for the people that we do research, and there is a platform so we can convey the research to the larger audiences. And it's a lot of work. Thank you, Ali, for your dedication. So I basically in the beginning, I'll talk a little bit about my research program, and then I will penetrate into the project that I indicated, the climate change impact project. So before I talk about my research program, a little on Carleton University. So many of you probably don't know where it is. It is in Canada's capital, Ottawa. We have about 31,000 students, so and about 5,000 faculty member and staffs. And as per Canadian ranking, it's among the top 5 comprehensive university in Canada. And this is our beautiful campus. In the civil engineering department, we have 40 professors, full-time professors, and there are so many part-time professors and course instructors. Okay. So among these 40 professors, our research group involved in seven groups. So of course, structure groups, geotechnical group, transportation group, environmental group, architectural engineering group, fire safety group. I fall in transportation group. We have 4 professors in transportations. So in the transportation group, I especially focus on pavement engineering, as some of you may know. So within the pavement area, I work in 3 sub areas: pavement materials, pavement design and performance analysis, and pavement management and maintenance area. So in the pavement materials area, basically, we try to understand the performance of newer materials or recycled materials using advanced test and classical test. In the pavement design and performance analysis area, we basically work on using software like MEP software to understand the pavement performance under the climate change scenario or autonomous vehicle impact, okay, on the pavement design, thickness design. In the pavement management area, we do like work on the best practice development, life cycle analysis, life cycle cost analysis, interval maintenance. Those are the things we do in the pavement maintenance and management area. This is my research team. Okay, there are, I think, about now 8 or 9 graduate students working on different subtopic. The project that we'll talk about, as I said, we finished in 2022, but all the publication occurred in 2023. So title is Climate Change Impact on Pavement Materials and Design. So it's a PhD project. Dr. Surya Sharma completed this project. He's a now postdoctoral researcher at Rowan University in New Jersey in USA. So basically, I will give a very high-level summary from this 4 years project that Dr. Surya Sharma completed during his PhD in our research group. So we all know that the climates that we see nowadays or in the recent years is different than in the past. We do not need to prove that climate is changing. That's what I am saying. As we work in the science and engineering field, we know that we see much more heavy rain precipitation in some area, or very severe rainstorm than we did not see in the past, or very hot days, more hot days, warmer days than in the past. Okay, for example, this above two picture is a snapshot from Canadian newspapers, popular newspaper. It was in the media. For example, in 2023, heat warning persists across much of Canada. Canada is the second largest country in the world, and whole Canada, we had heat warning in July 2023 for a few weeks. And also it happened at the same time in Europe, if you remember. Okay. And then the last snapshot that you see is from the Washington Post. They are saying with extreme heat, we cannot build roads and railways as we used to. Okay, there's a nice article on that. So the point is that due to change in climate, we see much hotter days and much warmer days in the recent years than we used to see in the past. And from the rainstorm perspective, we also see very heavy rainstorm. Okay, and more rainstorm in a year than we used to see the number of rainstorm in the past. Okay, in a year. This again snapshot from a heavy rainstorm event in British Columbia. So we had big rainstorms in British Columbia in 21. Hundreds of kilometers of highways flooded. Okay, and destabilize the water that came from the mountain and hilly areas in British Columbia. So the point is, due to climate change, we see that the more warmer and hot days, and also more rain precipitation, water, okay, that our pavement experience, and there is no doubt on it. In the US, okay, because the temperature changed from the past years, so Professor Shane Underwood, okay, now he's a professor in North Carolina State University in the US. Before he was a professor in Arizona State University. During that time, when he was in Arizona, he did this study. In 2017, he published this paper in Nature. As many of you know, I'm assuming that in the US or in Canada, we use a binder called PG grade binder, performance grade binder. Okay. So that binder is designed based on the high temperature and low temperature of the project location. So in this study, Professor Underwood compared the binder that is designed or used, okay, currently used, that is based on the temperature data from 1966 to 1995. Then he took the data from the climate database from 1985 to 2014. And he found in his study that that binder that we use in many cases, I believe he studied 786 project location or region, and 34 or 35% of the locations he found that binder that is used now is wrong and need to change based on the new temperature data. So you can see in this graph visualization, the blue dot shows that low temperature that is used, low temperature grade in those locations across the US, in many locations they need to be changed. The red dot shows the high temperature. As you know that PG binder is designed and developed based on high temperature, summer high temperature of the location, and the low temperature of the location. Okay, winter temperature, lowest in winter temperature. So in those locations also high temperature need to be changed. And black dot shows both high temperature and low temperature grade are not correct, need to be changed. So this is the based on the data just until 2014, and 10 more years passed. This is serious, and it will change. As you know that we are seeing much more event in the last 10 years, hot days, much more rain precipitation, okay, in many locations across the world, okay, after 2014. So this is the changes based on the data until 2014. So this is a US picture. Now, so in that study, Professor Underwood also predicted how the temperature will change considering different climate change scenario, climate change model. So based on 3 scenario, he predicted that the temperature will also change significantly. So what it means, we need to change the grade, okay, considering future climate change, for high temperature and low temperature. I also reviewed some European work. For example, this is an Italian study. So again, very similar study, changing in they wanted to see changes in the binder grade in high temperature and low temperature between 2013 and 2033 using some climate change model. Okay, so you can see in graph B that gives more clear picture. So the high temperature grade for changing in 1 grade up. Okay, as you know that the PG grade binder like 52, 64. So every 6 degrees we change one PG grade. So in this location in Italy, So they found that high temperature grade need to change. And in some location, they also found low temperature change, low grade also need to be changed. Okay. Between the 2013 and 2023 using climate change model. So this gives a context to understand the impact of climate change in Canada. So our objective was to determine, okay, and quantify the climate change impact on pavement performance in Canada in various locations, especially in major cities. Then to assess the new binder grade. In other words, to determine the change needed in binder grade because of the temperature rise due to climate change. And during this exercise, we also learned that the temperature model, pavement temperature model that we use in Canada for determining the binder grade is the US model. Okay, many of you probably know there is a sharp model, LTPP model. Okay, so we found that that model is really not that appropriate for Canada because of latitude difference and our climate is little different than US climate. So we address that problem by developing our own model for Canada. So we also develop a pavement temperature model for Canada using Canada's latitude and Canada's climate data. So people can use the constructing people, project engineer can use. We also develop a software tool so they can come up with the new binder grade using the new model. Okay, so we develop an application tool as well from this study. And then as we saw that climate change has impact on pavement performance, we also came up with some adaptation strategy to mitigate the climate change impact. Okay, and we also determine the impact on the economy and environment for those adaptation strategy if we adopt the design or materials and if we do nothing. Okay, we also did that analysis in this work. Again, it's a very comprehensive 4 years research project, PhD project. So as you know, that PhD project has very systematic methods. So it has basically 3 parts. In the first part, we basically determine and quantify the climate change impact on the pavement performance. So what we did, we collected the historical data, okay, or created the baseline data for climate from Environment Canada website using data from 1980 to 2010. So we took the temperature data and precipitation data. As you may know, in the government database, they do not record the data in many cases, in particular in this case, the hourly data, they record the data daily average high temperature, average low temperature, average amount of rain, average amount of snow. But for pavement design and analysis using mechanistic method, we need the hourly data, some of you may know. So we use statistical technique, modified imposed offset morphing method to convert that daily temperature and precipitation data to hourly data, and then we used STOIR ME, a pavement design software, okay, to determine the pavement performance for baseline condition or using baseline data. And for the road section that we studied in Canada, we use the LTPP database. You may know there are some LTPP road section, okay, long-term pavement performance road section that is developed by the Federal Highway Administration in the US. We also have some road section in Canada. So we collected the material data for those pavements from LTPP database and traffic data also from LTPP database, and existing pavement structural design also from LTPP database. And then this was the huge part, the right section, the climate change part. Okay, so we segmented into 3 time horizon. One is from 2010 to 2040, how the temperature and precipitation will change using a different emission scenarios, using different climate change prediction models. And then for the another time horizon was 2040 to 2017 and 2070 to 2100. So we tried to determine the pavement performance, okay, issues for 3 time horizon. That's the point. So again, using those climate change prediction model, we determine the future temperature and future precipitation pattern, okay, the daily average, and then we use the statistical technique to determine hourly climate data. Again, then we use the STOIR Mechanistic-Empirical design software to determine the pavement performance. So, as I said, it has 3 parts. In part 2, what we did to realize those objectives. So now we know the hourly temperature and hourly precipitation, okay, for different time horizon from the previous part. So we plugged in those data in the sharp temperature model, sharp pavement temperature model. Some of you know Strategic High Research Pavement Program has also pavement model. And the LTPP pavement temperature model, very similar to that. And then EICM model, okay, Enhanced Integrated Climate Model, that is in the ME program itself. So use these 3 model to come up with the binder grade to see how they are different. The existing 3 model that Canadian pavement designer, pavement engineer, binder designer, asphalt engineer use, okay, and we compared. We saw they are different because they are for US climate and US latitude, not for Canadian context. Then we found why it's different. Let's see using our own data. Okay, so we basically used our own temperature and precipitation data from the Canadian weather database, and based on that, we also determined the freezing index, number of days that pavement temperature goes under freezing temperature. And again, we use statistical technique to determine different cluster to understand the integrity and similarity between the precipitation pattern and temperature pattern and freezing index pattern. And based on this similarity, we develop pavement temperature model for Canada for different jurisdiction, for different cluster, okay, regional cluster, cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3. We also develop a full Canada-wide pavement temperature model using Canadian weather database. And in the part 3, okay, so as we saw that in some part of Canada, we will see more fatigue cracking, okay, pre-matured fatigue cracking, pre-matured subgrade rutting, pre-matured asphalt concrete rutting because of climate change, okay. So we prescribed some solution, okay. We tweak the design. For example, where we saw that there are a lot of fatigue cracking expected in some region because of climate change, bottom-up fatigue cracking is expected. So we propose that increase the asphalt layer thickness. Where we saw that there will be more subgrade rutting because of climate change, because of rain precipitation, heavy rain precipitation, you will see more subgrade rutting in your region if you have more rain nowadays. So we propose change the thickness of base layer and sub base layer. Use thicker base and thicker sub base. If you see more rain nowadays than in the historical past. Or use the stabilized base, okay? Don't just use the aggregate layer. Use some stabilizer, cement or asphalt. And in some region, like in Toronto area, we saw that there will be more rutting in the asphalt layer, concrete layer, asphalt concrete layer. So we propose to change the binder grade. Okay, change the high, change the or bump up one grade, high temperature grade, or change the asphalt mix grade. Okay, that was also a solution we found, or change the thickness of asphalt layer. So we basically prescribed some solution based on the potential climate scenarios, okay, climate change scenarios. So you have to do it to reduce the issues in the pavement. So of course it comes with cost. So we also did and environmental issues if you don't do. So we did the LCA, life cycle assessment, and life cycle cost analysis for the do nothing case, and if you change the pavement design or pavement materials, okay, for this kind of issues. And we did the comparison bit for the cost and the environmental emission for different cities. That is the methodology, okay, and the motivation of this project, what we did in this 4-year project. So this slide shows a very high-level summary of the estuary. I'm assuming you all know how it works. Okay, you need the temperature information or data, precipitation data, sunshine data, humidity, wind speeds, sea level, traffic information. Of course, the AICM model is integrated. You need also the material properties, okay? Then you need the pavement structural information. So it has the pavement response model in it, okay, that calculates stress and strain and deflection. And based on that, it calculates the future rutting, fatigue cracking, thermal cracking, and roughness. The software will give you output of the distresses based on the input that you plug in the software. So from here, you'll see some result, okay, summary of the result. Okay, again, all this work already published, okay, in Tier 1 journal or top journal in the field. For example, this slide shows the impact of climate change on the pavement performance in major cities in Canada for different time horizon. Okay. So top axis, you can see the province title like Alberta, British Columbia, MB, Manitoba, New Brunswick. And then immediate after the province is the city name. Okay, Calgary, Edmonton, okay, Ottawa, Toronto, uh, St. John's here, Corner Brook, and and the panels with the vertical column is the basically changes in distress. You know the pavement distress like fatigue, cracking, rutting. So first panel shows the asphalt concrete bottom up fatigue cracking percentage change in different cities for different time horizon. For example, in Calgary, for the climate change scenario, we did not see any change. But in Vancouver, for example, we saw that the bottom-up fatigue cracking will change about 10% in the shorter time horizon in between by 2040. If you do thing, okay, the fatigue cracking will increase by 10% by 2040. And in between 2040 to 2070, fatigue cracking will be increased by about 15%. And in the longer time horizon, it will increase by about 20%. In Toronto, look at that, it is above 30% in the longer horizon. In the medium time horizon, it will be about 22%. In the short horizon, it will be 10%. So this is for the bottom-up cracking. And the second panel is the rutting. In Charlottetown, look at in Charlottetown, the rutting in the asphalt layer will be changed, okay, will be increased by about 80% in the longer horizon. And in the short-term horizon, it will be about 25%. So this in nutshell, in different major cities, okay, or the capital cities of different provinces, the impact of climate change that they will see in different time horizon for roughness, for rutting, total rutting, for subbase and subgrade rutting, and SC rutting, and fatigue cracking. Now, as you may remember that we also changed, our goal was to see how the binder changes, okay, changes because of climate change in different major cities in Canada using different existing model. The SHARP model, Strategic High Research Program model, LTPP model, Long-term Pavement Performance model, and the software, Pavement ME software model that it used. It's called EICM model, Enhanced Integrated Climate Model, using thermodynamics principle. So this graph shows P dot blue color indicates no change, okay, needed, or yellow color shows at least you need to change one grade. You need to say if the current high temperature grade is 58, you need to do at least use 64, PG 64. And red dot shows you need to change at least 2 grade for the climate change using the existing US model, SHARP model, LTP model, and EICM model. Okay. So you can see it's already explained in the graph as well. One increment in high temperature grade represents increase of binder grade from PG 58 to PG 64 to -28. So -20 is the low temperature. We did not see, for in this particular case, low temperature need to be changed. But in some part of the regions, we saw that low temperature grade also need to be changed. Again, detail is exist in this paper. Okay, it's also published. So, but if you remember, I said these are the existing three modeling techniques, three models, the Sharp model, LTPP model, and ESM model. And these models are US model. So, and we found that no, it doesn't make sense to us to use that US model for Canadian environment and weather and latitude. So we used our own model, CPT model. And for that, um, this is the difference that we see. So just 1 second. So I wanted to show the model first. So this is the Canada-wide model for pavement temperature. This is for high temperature and low temperature scenario. So as you can see, T pave M is the cumulative average 7-day high pavement temperature, and T pave small m is the low pavement temperature model. So it's for the Canada-wide model using air temperature, high air temperature, pavement depth, and some statistical variables, and also latitude also in the model, in the regression model that we calibrated using Canadian database. So this is the Canada-wide model, but if we go to the previous slide now, we also thought Canada is so large. Okay, as you know, that it's the second largest country in the world. So it's better, we should have a regional model based on the similarity in pattern of temperature, rain, and the freezing index, number of days that undergoes below 4 degrees. So based on these three parameters, we also developed some regional model. We called it cluster, okay? Cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, based on the similarity in pattern of the climate variables. So we also developed regional model for predicting pavement temperature. So it exists in the paper, in this paper that published in RMPD. And this is the whole Canada-wide model. If just someone to see to see that what is the difference between Canada-wide model and their regional model. So this graph shows the statistical validity of the models. So the red section is the high pavement temperature prediction model, statistical result, and blue section is the low pavement temperature prediction model, statistical result. And the first panel is entire Canada model, Canada-wide model, and cluster 1, cluster 2 is the regional model. So just one indicator quickly. So as you all probably know that R-square is a good indicator to understand the quality of the prediction power of the regression models. So we got very high R-square value based on so many number of observation and so many number of testing, okay, validating. So our R-square value is pretty high for all these models. And of course, that is the statistical model. We wanted to also validate with the field observations. We collected the data from the field, from different part of the country, including from Newfoundland, different provinces, Canadian provinces, Saskatchewan, British Columbia, Ontario. Okay, and we found that the model predicted value and field measure value are also very close for high temperature and low temperature, both areas. So using the this new climate database, we also develop an application tool, as I said, to come up with the new binder grade needed for different Canadian cities using the existing model, Sharp model, LTPP model, and the EICM model, the American models basically. And we also use our new CPT model, Canadian Pavement Temperature model, to come up with the binder grade for, so people can use this application if they wish to. So this video clip shows how this software tool works to come up with the new binder grade. Okay, so I'll play this video. Ali, you can tell me if you don't see the video and if you don't listen to the video presentation.
Sure, Kamal. Yes. Okay.
So yeah, we called this software tool is called CAPS, Canadian Asphalt Binder Selection Tool. Okay. Yeah, Ali, do you listen to the video or no?
No, I don't hear anything but your voice. No.
Oh.
Yes. No, the slide, also the video is not is not moving.
Yeah, first introduction, we don't change the slide, but do you hear the voice?
Nothing.
Oh.
No. At least I don't hear. No, I don't hear. No.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, now. Yeah, is now it shows the newest slide. I mean, or
But you cannot hear, yes?
yes, no voice.
No voice. So but I can hear. Anybody
Okay.
else? Anybody else can hear the video voice or no?
No, no
No,
here.
it seems, yeah, no, maybe, yeah. On chat box, they also mention, yeah, there's
No.
no voice.
I think it's a team issue.
Yes,
Microsoft team
perhaps.
issue.
Yeah, probably it's a Teams issue. Yes.
Because
This video available on YouTube?
This video is available on YouTube, yes, but it's also available in our research group website. Okay.
Okay.
So should I give the link on the chat box,
Yes.
Ali?
Yes, that would be great. Yeah, thank you. So,
Okay.
yeah, if you, of course, you can share with our audience. Why not? Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Kamal.
Just a second.
One audience, yeah, Behruz mentioned that you need to change the voice input to laptop screen. Perhaps this is the solution for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try.
Yes.
Can you maybe get me how to do that?
Yeah, Behruz, if you can. Voice input. On settings, I think on more settings on your on Teams screen, the more section. If you click more section and then there is audio settings, maybe
Yes.
I guess because maybe that would be the part.
Okay.
Yes, perhaps you can change your.
Let me try.
Yes. So yeah, you need to share your speaker with audience. Yeah. So this is the in audio settings. Oh.
I'm in audio setting.
Okay. So, voice input to laptop is okay. It's okay, Behruz, no problem. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, I can share the link.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you can share. Thank you. Yes, if you can share the link, then our audience can directly reach out to presentation. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, on the.
What about now?
No, not yet. No, nothing.
Okay, I shared the link. So let's
Yes.
just about 2-minute video. Let's watch it all. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you, Kamal.
So I request all the audience to watch this video. I just shared the link. Let me know if you guys are done.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So you done with the presentation, Kamal, or you still continue?
No, I still have some.
Okay. Yes.
So I'm asking if people are done with the video or no.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, it seems
Yes,
I
we
didn't
attend.
check it. Okay,
Okay, so I can go to my next
that's
slide.
okay.
So I have a few more slides that shows the remaining part of the work. So if you remember, I mentioned we also prescribe some solution to mitigate the climate change impact. So basically changes in the binder grade or changes in the asphalt layer thickness or changes in the base layer thickness or sub base layer thickness or using the stabilized material in the base, okay, or changing the mix design to reduce the climate change impact for different region based on the issues that the region faces. So these are the solutions. So because of climate change, two main things from pavement perspective. One is happening is increasing in temperature and also change in the precipitation pattern. So increasing in temperature, basically it increase in pavement temperature. So increase in pavement temperature, so it decrease in mixture modulus if you can link that, okay? So that increase in the asphalt rotting. So to reduce this rotting, we basically propose many things. So if we go to the next slide, it shows the nutshell of what we propose in different major cities. For example, in Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, for different time horizon. In some places, we just propose that to change the binder grade. BZ means change in binder grade. BT means change in asphalt thickness. Okay. MZ means change in mixed grade. Okay. CT mean change in asphalt layer thickness. Okay. BT means change in base type actually. So in some location you will need to do change binder grade, mixed grade also in the base type based on the distresses they experience. So these are the overall prescription for different region in Canada to mitigate the climate change impact. So now if you adopt this or if you don't do anything, what will happen? So if you don't do anything, okay, so that will be the issue. So you will have more emission over the life of the project. That's we found in summary. And if you change in your pavement design or material from environmental perspective, there will be overall less emission over the life cycle. Okay, in different region in Canada, that is what we found. So why? One thing is if you don't change, there will be a lot of issues in pavement. So there will be a lot of emissions during the use phase. Okay. If you change, of course, there will be more construction activity. In the beginning, there will be more emission compared to if you don't do anything. But over the life of the project, there will be overall, you will be saving emission if you change now rather than if you wait. Okay, that to what pavement what the distress will occur, it doesn't matter to us. From the cost perspective, so again, from the cost point of view, very similar trend we observed that if you do not do anything, it's fine. You do not have any cost in the beginning, okay, for agency and for user. But if you do change in the beginning, yeah, there will be cost, but overall you will be saving money, okay, over the life of the project, especially for the user cost, it will be very high because of the emission and fuel consumption driving on the bad road or road with the distresses. So again, each of the work that you're seeing, one slide, kind of one paper, okay? All are published. So I cannot go to the whole detail. But if you are interested, you can go to our website or ResearchGate or Google Scholar. You will find all the paper that we published. from this project. 7 paper actually we published from this work. So in nutshell, of course, climate change has significant impact on the performance in Canada that we found. We also found compared to statistical techniques for coming up with the daily, from daily average to hourly average, we found MIOMM was more accurate method. And we compared between the software climate change, the pavement temperature model, ASM model, with the SHARP and LTPP models. So there are mismatch. So we propose our own model, CPT model, and we also develop a software tool so people can use it easily. And we also propose the climate change adaptation strategy to mitigate the issues. And we also did the life cycle cost analysis and life cycle environment analysis for different adaptation strategies or material changes needed to mitigate the climate change. Again, this work was done mainly Dr. Surya Sharma. Okay, I am just on his behalf presenting this work as his supervisor, and we also got a lot of support from our other group member. That's it. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Ali. I'm sorry I took a little bit extra time from you guys.
Okay. Thank you so much, really, Kamal, for your presentation. Very insightful, very thorough research, and really, I myself learned a lot and really impressed by what your team done with this really I can say the thorough study in terms of the impact of climate change on the future of our pavement in case of the Canada and Canada pavement, Canadian pavement structures. Okay, so I want to ask if among our audience, if anyone has any question, you can just raise your hand and turn on your mic. Or you can type your question in chat box. Yes, Abdullah. Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Ali, for this series webinars on pavement. And thank you, Kamal, for this nice presentation. You hear me, Ali?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, Abdullah. Yes, you can please continue.
Yes. And thank you, Professor Kamal, for this nice presentation about climate effect on pavement. And here I need to say for audience, Professor Kamal, he have one training course in next week on life cycle. If anyone he need attend, because already I have registered for this training course. I have you say the binder grade, and after that you say asphalt mixing grade. Professor Kamal, what you mean by asphalt mixing grade? This first question, and I need to know what's the higher BG in Canada, because in Saudi Arabia here, sometime we use Intel 76 BG. And you still use DSR or go to other step, next step, and use masker.
Okay, great. Thank you, Abdullah, for your comments and interesting question. So for first question, if I correctly understood, what is the difference? What I mentioned that binder grade need to change and the mixing grade. So it is not mixing grade. I said mix grade or mix design change. As for mix design. So for the binder grade change, for example, in Ottawa region, we use 58 minus 28, PG 58 minus 28. So, but for the climate change, if you consider climate change in your construction, you need to use PG 64 minus 28. So it is the binder grade. So that is the binder grade change. Just you need to change the next higher grade binder because high temperature is changing in Ottawa region. But for the low temperature region, we found that no, you do not need to change, just as an example.
Okay,
Secondly,
and what's the most popular polymer used in Canada
what is the
to
most?
modify polymer additives used to
so
change?
Canada is a so big country and different region, different agencies, different transportation department has their own specs, okay, own guideline for the contractors. So we basically, in general, do not prescribe in our specification that you use SBS or other polymer. Rather, we do the performance testing that it meets the criteria, that it need to follow the meet the DSR, BBR, okay, those test threshold value, rather than prescribing the contractor or producer that change the binder using this polymer or that polymer. Rather, whatever the way they do, it doesn't matter. Is it meeting our performance criteria for those tests? Okay, there are threshold value for those tests.
Okay. Also, I need to ask about in the beginning. You say you use Ashware software, and this also I am here use this software, and this software require input the threshold of the distress, like rutting, fatigue, cracking. What's the threshold of rutting and cracking in Canada? Because here, for example, also IRI. For example, here I put 10 millimeter for rutting for some roads, and other increase or decrease. What's the case of Canada?
Again, very good question. So just to give a context, it is really not that common practice in the industry in Canada to use Ashware that much still in Canada. One issue is calibration. Some of you who use Ashware, you may know there are so many parameters in all these models, all these equations. And to calibrate this model needs huge amount of data, huge amount of effort. So I was in tech conference, Transportation Association of Canada conference, last annual conference. So I was speaking with the pavement ME committee chair. He is a senior pavement engineer in Manitoba Department of Transportation. So he is in the pavement. He's a pavement engineer for the government transportation department, provincial transportation for many years, 20 years or so. His impression was, oh no, we should not use pavement ME software, Ashware. We also use we are not that happy, to be honest. Okay, especially in Canadian context. But it's a good start point. If you can calibrate for your local jurisdiction using your local data, it can be valuable exercise. The answer to your question is, again, first of all, it is not widely used for practice. Secondly, it's up to you what threshold value you will use. For rutting, yeah, I think in our work that we did finish a couple of projects using Astoya. I think in some road we use 1 inch, even some road we use ½ inch. Okay, rutting over the design life, over 20 years of design life. So it depends on you as an analyst what you will do. Um, there is no one single answer for this.
Okay.
Okay.
Last question. Sorry, Ali, for that.
Yes, yes, please continue. Yes, yes.
Last question, Professor Kamal. The EICM model. I see you use this model available to download and get it, because I know this from literature review developed by Dr. Shaheen or some name like that, Egyptian one. And this I share one slide for you, Dr. Ali.
Yes.
Can send for this attendees.
Sure.
My question for Professor Ali, Professor Kamal, this model available to download, or how I can get this?
So the best way will be, please send me an email, okay, with this inquiry. I will refer you to Dr. Surya Sharma, so you will be the right person
Okay.
to address it.
Okay, thank you. That is all for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
thank you.
email
Thank you,
ID
Abdullah, really, for your question. Okay, any other question? Okay, Haibua, yes, please.
Hello, Dr. Kamal. Yeah, my name is Haibodin from Southwest Carleton University, and I studied at Queen's University for 2 years. Professor Simon Hisper, very interesting. Your research very interesting, and it's very important for to do the research on climate change, on our asphalt binder selection. So I think we can use your method to study the how if we wrong select our asphalt binder, it will also affect like field performance. So very useful information and useful presentation, and it give us many good ideas for future research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Haibo. Yeah. Please convey my regards to Professor Hasp. He's a nice and big man, and he does a lot of good research.
Yeah, he focuses on physical hardening. So I think your research can combine with asphalt itself, because asphalt is itself, the properties also change. So your model, I think, can also combine to predict if we wrong select the asphalt, also will affect the field performance. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Haibua. Yes, thank you. Yes. So, Kamal, do you have anything to answer to say to Haibua, or because I just received another question from Hadith? Okay.
Did I miss any question from Haibu? I thought he did not have any question.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, just okay. So
no any specific question.
Okay. Okay, so I got a question from Hadith asking, considering the challenges of premature fracturing and rotting in pavements, you identify increasing the base layer thickness and incorporating asphalt stabilizers as potential solution. What specific types of stabilizers, such as polymers, fibers, are most suitable given in Canada region's specific climate and traffic conditions?
Yeah, so this question itself a little bit we need correction. So basically what I meant that in our prescription, we prescribed to use stabilizer for the base layer. So in the base layer, if you know that in asphalt pavement or flexible pavement, we have multiple layers. First layer is the asphalt layer. Then is the aggregate layers. So immediate after asphalt layer, we have a base, we call it base layer. Good quality of aggregate, bigger piece. And then we have sub-base layer, yes? And depends on your alignment requirement, maybe multiple sub-base layer. So in the aggregate layer, in theoretically, you do not need anything, just aggregate skeleton. But we found that in some region, if we use like stabilizer like cement, like ordinary Portland cement or asphalt to create more modulus, okay, more stronger system that reduce some rutting issue and other issues. So you do not need to use polymer or fiber. We never prescribe that for the base layer. Use that as a stabilizer. Better use cement or asphalt to make it more cohesive system for your base layer.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Kamal, for your answer. Yeah, I think since your presentation is very state of the art and current, and so many pavement engineers are now around the world are now focusing on sustainable development in pavement structure, pavement material, prediction of the pavement, and the impact of climate change on our road pavement. So I think really this webinar and your presentation was really very interesting to our audience. And thank you so much, really, for your presentation, for your time again, and accepting my invitation. I'm not sure if there is no other question from audience, we can, because we already are running out of time, over 20 minutes. If there is no more question, we can wrap up this. Okay, so Abdullah, yes, you have.
I
Yes.
have last question out of the topic. I need to ask Professor Kamal, there available scholarship or capacity to take one in your group as PhD student?
So how it works? So we are hired periodically. University has a system. So yeah, the potential candidate can email at the email. I'm not hiring right now, but in future when I get a funded project, okay. So it doesn't depend on me only. It's a application process. The applicant need to meet those criteria like IELTS criteria, GPA requirement to get the TA funding and departmental funding. And then the RS scholarship research assistant funding can be provided. So again, depends on the individual applicant. But at this moment, I'm not hiring any PhD student or even any master student. I have already large group.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you again. Thank you so much, Kamal, for your for your contribution to this webinar series. Thank you to everyone till now. They are still on the webinar. They are present, the whole audience. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully have you in Chengdu in future. And we are very welcome you in advance in China, in Chengdu. And hopefully we could have more collaboration and exchanging academic exchange on research mutual. There are lots of room, I think, for collaboration. Dr. Haibua also, since he's the secretary of international the relations and the promotion in the School of Civil Engineering, I think he can yes, we can think together and discuss these topics. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
yes,
you.
Kamal, if do you have anything, the closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you so much again, Ali, for connecting and inviting me. It was really nice to share our research and to create new, probably future more stronger collaboration and activities between us. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much again, Kamal. Thank you, everyone, for being
Thank you,
up
Professor.
till
Thank
now.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a nice day, everyone. And please stay tuned for our upcoming webinar. We will have another one next Friday, and I will update the next webinar soon. Yeah. By that time, so please, everyone, take care and have a nice day. Thank you, Kamal. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
And bye.
Hello, Eli.